Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet. Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityaṁ bhāgavata-sevayā Bhagavati uttamashloke Bhaktir bhavati naishtaki. Nigamakalpatarur galitam phalam Shukhamukhad Amritam dravya samyutam Pibat bhagavatam Rasam alayam muhur aho rasika bhuvi bhavukaha. Jai Śrī Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Brinda. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you so much, dear worshipable devotees, for taking out your valuable time to give your association to read here Srimad-Bhāgavatam, Grantraj Srimad-Bhāgavatam together. We are reading Canto 10, Chapter 8, entitled Lord Krishna Shows the Universal Form. And we read till text number 3, so we will make our journey towards the next verse, that is text number 4. Mahad Vichalanam Nrinam Grihinam Dina Chetasam Nishresaya Bhagavan Kalpate Nanyat Kvachit Nanyatha Kvachit Mahad Vichalanam Nrinam Grihinam Dina Chetasam Nishreyasya Bhagavan Kalpate Nanyatha Kvachit. Translation and purport by Abhicharana Ravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. O Lord, O my Lord, O great devotee, persons like you move from one place to another, not for their own interest, but for the sake of poor-hearted grihastas, householders. Otherwise, they have no interest in going from one place to another. Purport: as factually stated by Nanda Maharaj, Gargamuni, being a devotee, had no needs. Similarly, when Krishna comes, he has no needs. He is Purna, Atmarama. Nonetheless, he descends to this material world to protect the devotees and vanquish the miscreants. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chadushkritam. This is the mission of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And devotees also have the same mission. One who executes this mission of para-upkar, performing welfare, performing welfare activities for people in general. It is recognized by Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as being very, very dear to him. Na chatasman manushyeshu kaschin me priya kritamaha. Similarly, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has advised this para upkar, and he has especially advised the inhabitants of India. Bharat bhumite hoilam manushya janmajar janma sartha kori kara para upkar. One who has taken this birth as a human being in the land of India, Bharatvarsha, should make his life successful and work for the benefit of all other people. Chaitanya Caritāmṛta 9.41. On the whole, the duty of a pure Vaishnava devotee is to act for the welfare of others. Act for the welfare of others. Nanda Maharaj could understand that Garga Muni had come for this purpose, and that his own duty now was to act according to Garga Muni's advice. Thus he said, "Please tell me what is my duty." This should be the attitude of everyone, especially the householder. Especially the householder. The Varnashrama society is organized into 8 divisions: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasa. Uh, so 8 divisions: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasa. 8 Varnas, 8 ashramas. Nanda Maharaj represented himself as Grihi Nam, a householder. A brahmachari factually has no needs, but grihi, householders, are engaged in sense gratification. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita 2.44, Bhokta Bhogeshwarya Prasaktanam Taya Aprihata Chetasam. Everyone has come to this material world for sense gratification, and the position of those who are too attached to sense gratification and who are, therefore accept the Grihastha ashram is very precarious. Since everyone in this material world is searching for sense gratification, Grihasthas are required to be trained as great Mahatmas. Therefore, Nanda Maharaj specifically used the word Mahat Vichalanam. Garga Muni had no interest to serve by going to Nanda Maharaj. But Nanda Maharaj as a Grihastha was always perfect, ready to receive instructions from a Mahatma to gain the real benefit in life. Thus, he was ready to execute Garga Muni's order. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Wow. So in the beginning of chapter 8, we were discussing that Garga Muni, the Kul Guru of the Yadu Vamsha, was inspired by Vasudeva to go to Gokula because Krishna and Balaram were there under the care of Nanda. And he went there. So now, how he was received, we discussed in the previous 2 verses. How nice, and we talked great about guest reception. How Nanda Maharaj so nicely received in text number 2 and 3. We discussed that. Now, this is about the greatness of great devotees who are traveling different places. Mahat Vichalanam. Vichalanam means move. They move, right? Vichal. Chala means move. Mahat. Mahatmanastu Mam Partha. They are not ordinary souls. They are Mahatma, Mahan Atma. They are great souls. Niridam. They go to the house of ordinary people. In this case, Grihasthas, Grihinam, Dinachetasam, who are absorbed in their chetna. Their consciousness is absorbed in family, kids, wife, job, business, mortgage, Wi-Fi, electricity, car payment, insurance. Oh, baba. There's a long list, and the mind is constantly absorbed, paying debit card bills, credit card bills, insurance bills, electric bills, this bill, school, tuition fee, there's so many things. Grihasthas are so occupied in all these things. Ni Shreyasya. Shreya means reason, they're selfless. They don't go for collecting money or for their own selfish interest. A great personality has no reason to go to Grihastha but to benefit him for their own good, for the good of the Grihasthas. So Bhagavan Kalpati Nanyatha Kvachit. For no other purpose but only for the benefit of those grihasthas. So most of us are grihasthas. So whenever we receive devotees, especially exalted Mahatmas, This is the mood we should receive. Not that they need us. We need them. We need them. That's why they are here. They are traveling sadhu. They're walking tirthas. Come to our home. Oh, Krishna, I'm so blessed. I'm so fortunate. This is the real mood we should have. Especially I was recently with His Grace Yugal Kishore Prabhu in Michigan, Farmington Hills, got some time to get his good association. He was mentioning it's very hard, to practice bhakti, especially for grihastas, especially for a country like US. He said that. And I asked Prabhuji, why you feel so? He said, because people have a lot of independent mentality. Most people, India, from the Indian subcontinent, they come here for a very straight reason, that's money, right? They come for money and higher standard of living. Very simple. And then they feel, I have worked so hard, I'm so intelligent, I'm an accomplished engineer, I have so many people reporting to me, I'm a president, I'm the manager, I'm this, I'm that. And then to become subservient is very hard. Then to listen to great souls, because those propensities certainly affect our spiritual life also. And my mother is here. She was mentioning that we have a domestic help. She said she hardly makes any money. Like, $100 is too much for her, right? A month, not a day or hour. But she's so happy. She's so satisfied. She's so happy and satisfied with the $100 a month she makes. Wow. Maybe 100, 200 at max. That's it. But she is happy, satisfied, not greedy, and not trying to steal anyone's property. That's greatness. That's greatness. Very, very good. So, no doubt Kunti Maharani says, Janmeshwarya Shutashribhi Edamana Madapumanneva Avahartiya Vidhatum Vitvam Akinchana Gocharam. These high birth, wealth, knowledge become disqualifications. And Guru Kishore Prabhu was mentioning that he's a very mature, experienced devotee, seen a lot of countries, cities, and temples, etc. Nonetheless, we should give up that and mentality and try to be in this humble, subservient mood and work on the principle of Parama Karuna, Para Upkara, the greatest welfare. What's that verse, Manjulali? Lord Shiva says, Param Aradhana Tadhi. Lord Shiva says, what is the greatest Aradhana? The greatest Aradhana is those who engage their mind, body, and consciousness in Tapyante Lokatapena. Tapyante Lokata, अपने आप को तपाते हैं औरों का ताप दूर करने के लिए. Isn't that beautiful? Tapyante Lokatapena. So that people can be happy, they take voluntarily austerity to relieve the suffering of others. That's topmost Parupkar, which especially Lord Chaitanya is saying to the people of India, Bharatvarsh, which applies practically to the whole world actually, because in one sense the whole world is Bharatvarsh. And I was hearing today morning only actually that God made first different creatures, but then he made the human beings so that they can intelligently take care of everything, because humans have higher intelligence, we have heard. So humans have a higher intelligence and have a higher purpose also. And that purpose is to do paropkar. Not just selfishly think of I, me, and mine, but think of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, think of the animals, think of like Shibri Maharaj. For a dove, he was willing to sacrifice his own head. And in that Vamsha, Lord Krishna appeared, in that Chandra Vamsha. So, Janama Sarthak Kari Karo Paropkar. There's a duty. This is what Prabhupada is saying. What's the duty of Vaishnava? to act for the welfare of others, as it is from the purport, to act for the welfare of others. So, the duty of the grihasthas here, who are very absorbed in family life, this, that, should be to invite great souls as much as possible. Because when they come, our home, our environment, our consciousness will naturally be uplifted because they carry Krishna in their heart. They will inspire us. And that's how Nanda Maharaj is showing by his example how he's welcoming, how he's so grateful to have Garga Muni for his own benefit. Now Nanda Maharaj is an internal associate of the Lord. He's having such a elevated attitude. So we can imagine my situation being a conditioned soul, being a Griya Medi, how much more if Nanda Maharaj is thinking himself, I am a conditioned soul, I am a Griya Medi, absorbed in this, I'm absorbed in Dina Chetasam, daily activities, I'm just busy, job, family, this, that, grocery. How much more a Griya Medi like myself needs training. Prabhupada is mentioning Grihasthas are required to be trained. Not referring to brahmacharis, sannyasis. Of course, everyone needs training, but in this case, grihasthas are required to be trained as what? Great Mahatmas. Amongst the 12 Mahajans, more than 60% are grihasthas. Dhruv Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Amrish Maharaj, and so many great, Janak Maharaj, etc., Pandavas. So this is the instruction for all of us in grihasthas, and trained to receive the instructions of Mahatmas. That's also needs training. That means submission. We discussed this: honesty, submission, humility. Then only will give up this false controllership, ownership mentality, and humble ourselves. Tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnam sevaya. Any other comments anyone has in this text? Beautiful text about great devotees. Okay, then let's move on to the next verse, text 5. Yes, Vipul Prabhu, want to read this one?
Sure, Prabhuji. Devotees, Dharma Pranam, all goes to Śrīla Prabhupada, text 5. Jyotisham anandam sakshat yattas jananam atindriyam Nityaṁ bhāgavata-sevayā puman vedo parabharam. Translation purport of His Divine Case, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Śrīla Prabhupada Vijaya. Translation: O great saintly person, you have compiled the astrological knowledge by which one can understand past, present, unseen things. By the strength of this knowledge, any human being can understand it affects his present life. This is known to you. Purport: the word destiny is now defined. Unintelligent persons who do not understand the meaning of life are just like animals. Animals do not know the past, present, and future of life, nor are they able to understand it. But a human being can understand this if he is sober. Therefore, as stated in Bhagavad Gita, Dhiras tatrana mujjati. A sober person is not bewildered. The simple truth is that although life is eternal, in this material world, one changes from one body to another. Foolish people, especially in this age, do not understand the simple truth. Krishna says, Divinna asmin jata dehe komaram joganam jara tata dhyanto prapti dhirastastrana mujjati. As embodied soul continually passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, and the soul similarly passes into another body at death. The self-aware soul is not bewildered by such a change. Bhagavad Gita 1:2.13. Krishna, the greatest authority, says that the body will change, and as soon as the body changes, one's whole program of work changes also. Today I am a human being or a great personality, but with a little deviation from nature's law, I shall have to accept a different type of body. Today I'm a human being, but tomorrow I may become a dog, and then whatever it is I have performed in this life will be a failure. This simple truth is now rarely understood, but one who is dhira can understand this. Those in this material world for material enjoyment should know that because their present position will cease to exist, they must be careful in how they act. This is also stated in Rishabhadev. Now sadhu manne jato atmano yam ashnan opi kleshado asho deho. Bhagavatam 5.5.4. Although this body is temporary, as long as we have to live in this body, we must suffer. Whether one has a short life, long life, one must suffer the threefold miseries of material life. Therefore, any gentleman Dhira must be interested in Jyotisha, Jyotisha astrology. Nanda Maharaj was trying to take advantage of the opportunity afforded by Gargamuni's president, for Gargamuni was a great authority in this knowledge of astrology, by which one can see the unseen events of past and present and future. It is the duty of a father to understand the astrological position of his children and do what is needed for his further happiness. Now, taking advantage of the opportunity afforded by the presence of Gargamuni, Nanda Maharaj suggested that Gargamuni prepare horoscope for Nanda's two sons of Krishna and Balaram. So, Nanda Maharaj is a great astrologer, and taking this advantage, Nanda Maharaj asked Gargamuni to prepare horoscope for his two sons Krishna and Balaram. And as Prabhupada clearly explained that human life only can think present, past and future, and as well as they understand the changes of the body in this life, and when it passes from in this at the end of this life and go to the next body to continue the other life, but of the same soul. So person who understand this, they are called dhira. They know the truth, and they are not get bewildered, because they know that it's just changing the dresses and the soul will carry on that journey. Back to Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Can you hear me?
I get here.
So, then Maharaj is welcoming, glorifying the great qualities of Gargamuni, and now he knows that Gargamuni is a great devotee and astrologer. So basically, he's asking to get the horoscopes also done. And Prabhupada does mention at certain places that at 2 times in one's life, horoscopes are important. But they are like they have a role everywhere, but at 2 times, one must not every day see what's my horoscope for today. That's too much. Right? But twice at 2 major junctures, Prabhupada is saying. One is at the birth, and other is during the marriage. Like before the marriage, like marriage or matchmaking and all that. But ultimately, it's all about. There are hardly any pure astrologers these days, like Gargamuni, for sure. There are hardly any such, and nor are the people recipient like Nanda Maharaj either. So we have to do what's practical. But the whole point is that human life is rare, and we must not spend it like cats and dogs. As Prabhupada is writing, today I'm a human being, but tomorrow I may become a dog. Then whatever activities I have performed in this life is a failure, isn't it? Except for bhakti activities. The three bhas remain eternal: Bhagavan, Bhakti, and Bhakta. So in short, one should fill more and more of spiritual bank account. The material bank account, whether one is Henry Ford, right? One could be Henry Ford. Like Prabhupada told Alfred Ford from His Grace Amrish Prabhu, oh, you are the great grandson of Henry Ford? Where is he now? Where is he now? Just a name, right? So no matter how great, how much wealth one may have, how much influence one may have, how much beauty one may have, how many cars one may have, or bungalows and properties and lands and castles and mansions one may have, they will all be gone. But how much of bhakti one has? We glorify Prahlad of not how great of a, how great of how much wealth he had. Not because of that. We glorify Prahlad because of how much of bhakti he had, right? So whether one is Prahlad or Shabari, their names are eternal in the history for their devotional qualities, for their love towards Krishna or Rama. That's a real purpose. That stays forever. An intelligent person would certainly never put bhakti on backseat, knowing that this is real thing. As His Grace Prashant Mukund Prabhu was telling, difference between real and unreal. The avidya is knowledge. Avidya is lack of knowledge. These days, as Prabhupada is mentioning, that hardly anyone knows about these things. Hardly anyone cares about all these things. Everyone says, well, so what? Oh, let me be busy enjoying life. Live life king size. Enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. And then in Hindi, one devotee said, "Hum bhogo ko bhogte hain ya bhog hame bhog lete hain." Something deep to meditate upon. हम भोगों को भोग रहे हैं या भोग नहीं हमको grasp करके खत्म कर दी. We are not actually enjoying the bhogas or the senses, but the senses or the different elements of Maya, they just cover our intelligence and we become entrapped by the influence of those. That's not an intelligent person. That's basically animalistic life. So we have to come to the higher level and live by the principles of bhakti. That's the real human life. Any other comments in this or the previous text anyone has?
Prabhuji, Dhanyavad Pranam. I have a question here. Prabhupada in the purport says that therefore any gentleman, Dhira, must be interested in Jyotisa or astrology. So, Prabhuji, is that important to, because as we read, I think in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam somewhere that when you are a devotee, you do not need those astrology, Jyotish, Shastra, anything. Those are like beyond, and Krishna is the absolute and supreme, just right, Prabhuji?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, depending upon how sincerely we are devoted towards Krishna. Certainly. Yeah, so we have to take every statement as in a bigger context and understand the bigger picture. We cannot just take one statement in silo and just say, hey, Prabhupada said this, so from tomorrow onwards I'm going to spend 3 hours understanding astrology. Right? So we have to see in a bigger picture. And Prabhupada also said, see, one thing is for certain, right? in everyone's life, and that is
Death.
the body will die, right? Jatasya hi dhruva mrityu dhruva janma mritasya cha, right? As certain as that. So if to see the context here is that people these days become, as Prashant Mukund was also mentioning, that the people don't want to talk about death. You say, why are you being pessimistic? On the birthday also you talk about death, that you're 20 years old, your life is 20 years gone and you have less life left now. So, but that's not being pessimistic, that's being realistic. So a devotee is aware that in the future, my time is less. That's being adhira. So if I've already passed 50 years of my life, now I have certainly less time left. If I have 30, well, we don't even know how many seconds we have left. Talking about years is a big thing. But the point is that less time is left, right? Time flies fast. So intelligent person keeps that in mind and is aware of the goal. The time is less, the goal is far. So I must not waste time. I must be conscious of my goal. I must be conscientious of my goal. Whether one has short life or long life, everyone is suffering, but still one thinks that I will enjoy. Not caring for the future reactions, right? We can create our own future, irrespective of how our future, and that was the whole purpose of the yesterday's class also. What to talk about the karma which is prarabdha, even the karma which is in the seed form, bija, kota, and aprarabdha. In any stages of its fructification, it can be destroyed by the process of bhakti. So in short, bhakti can change our destiny. In short, devotees are cognizant and aware of their future. Therefore, they don't want to do things which are bad or not conducive for bhakti, and they do only things which are conducive for bhakti, and they are uprooting all the bad karmas, and they're creating no more karma. They're aware of the future, they are cognizant of the future, and they're working towards it. So in short, they are interested in Jyotish, or so indirectly we can link with this way. That's my 2 cents. Any other comments anyone has?
So Prabhuji, if I understand correctly, I mean, we have to just take it as per the context, right, Prabhuji? It is, even though Prabhupada says here, some places he says, you should not be. And I have seen actually more places Prabhupada mentions that, and this here, I have seen this is the first time. So maybe based on the context, right, Prabhuji?
Yeah, absolutely. And as I mentioned before, at 2 junctures, which are important junctures, the birth and marriage should be consulted.
So for devotee, nothing is needed actually. What color, race, born ashram, or astrology. But otherwise, Prabhupada said that to follow something, if not a devotee.
That's so true. Very nice comments. Thank you, Prabhus and Matajis, for sharing. Okay, let's move on to the next verse. Any Matajis want to read? Text 6. Shubha Mataji has her hand up. Yeah, please read, Mata.
Thank you, Prabhu. Chapter 8, text 6. Tvam hi brahma vidam shrestha samskaran kartum arhasi balayor anayor ranam janmana brahmano guru. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation, my Lord, you are the best of Brahmanas, especially because you are fully aware of Jyotish Sastra, the astrological science. Therefore, you are naturally the spiritual master of every human being. This being so, since you are since you have kindly come to my house, kindly execute the reformatory activities for my two sons. Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, says in Bhagavad Gita 4.13, Chaturvarnam maya shrastham guna karma vibhagasa. The four varnas, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Sudra, must be present in the society. The Brahmanas are required for the guidance of the whole society. If there is no such institution as Varnashrama, Dharma, and if human society has no such guidance as the Brahmana, human society will be hellish. In Kali Yuga, especially, at the present moment, there is no such thing as a real Brahmana, and therefore society is in a chaotic situation. Formerly, there were qualified Brahmanas, but at present, although there are certainly persons who think themselves Brahmanas, they actually have no ability to guide society. The Krishna consciousness movement is therefore very much eager to reintroduce the Varnashrama system into human society so that those who are bewildered or less intelligent will be able to take guidance from qualified Brahmanas. Brahmana means Vaishnava. After one becomes a Brahmana, the next stage of development in human society is to become a Vaishnava. A Vaishnava. People in general must be guided to the destination or real goal of life, and therefore they must understand Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The whole system of Vedic knowledge is based on this principle, but people have lost the clue. Natu vida swartha gatim hi Vishnum. And they are simply pursuing sense gratification with the risk of gliding down to a lower grade of life. Mrityu samsara vartamani. It doesn't matter whether one is born a Brahmana or not. No one is born a Brahmana. Everyone is born a Sudra. But by the guidance of a Brahmana and by samskara, one can become Dvija, twice born, and then gradually become a Brahmana. Brahmanism is not a system meant to create a monopoly of a particular class of men. Everyone should be educated so as to become a Brahmana. At least there must be an opportunity to allow everyone to attain the destination of life. Regardless of whether one is born in a Brahmana family, a Kshatriya family, or a Sudra family, one may be guided by a proper Brahmana and be promoted to the highest platform of being a Vaishnava. Thus, the Krishna consciousness movement affords on opportunity to develop the right destination of human society. Nanda Maharaj took advantage of the opportunity of Garga Muni's presence by requesting him to perform the necessary reformatory activities for his sons to guide them towards the destination of life. Hare Kṛṣṇa. Prabhuji, to what I understood from the sloka, I think Nanda Maharaj greeted Garga Muni, and he mentioned that he's the greatest of the Brahmanas, and he also is fully aware of the Jyotisha Sastra. So he was requesting to to perform with his knowledge to know the jataka of his two sons. So he was to perform I think it's also said that that's being sent since you're kindly come to my house, so kindly execute the reformatory activities for the two sons. So he is requesting Gargamuni to perform so. And Prabhupada, I think it's my hour-long question and always questionable. So I think it's clearly clarified here by Prabhupada about who is considered as Brahmana and whether it's birth through which we get that title as Brahmana, or through character, or through bhakti, and bhakti, where one is called as Brahmana. So, yeah, but probably I think you will better explain. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. What's the answer? How is it classified?
So it's with the, I think everybody by birth would be Sudra, and they would be born twice with the association of a Brahmana, Guru, who's a Brahmana, and he became Brahmana. He would be becoming Brahmana by becoming a Vaishnava, by serving God, Lord Krishna. And because he's a Vaishnava and considered as a Brahmana, by taking his shelter, one who takes his shelter would become a Brahmana himself, and he should follow the same footsteps. That's what I understood.
Yes, Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, Chaturvarnya maya srishtam guna karma vibhagasha. Vibhajan means breakdown. So for this varna in ashramas, these 8 categories which we read in the last verse, Brahmana, Vaishya, Kshatriya, Shudra, Brahmana, Vaishya, Kshatriya, Shudra, and Brahmachari, Vanaprastha, Grihastha, and Sannyas. 4 varnas, 4 ashramas. They're divided on guna. Guna means qualities, character. They are not janma vibhagasha. They're guna and karma, qualities and actions. If one has qualities and actions of for a Shudra, one may, just by having a name or a surname, oh, I was born in the family of Brahmana. Like, for example, Ashwathama did not acted like a Brahmana. He's called Brahma Bandhu, friend of a Brahmana. Like Vipul Prabhu is my friend. But I will not be called a doctor. I'll be called friend of a doctor. Dr. Bandhu is not a doctor, right? I cannot say I am a doctor because my friend is a doctor. I need to have that proper training of a doctor. Then I'll be called a doctor, right? Similarly, one has to have a training of a Brahmana, qualities of a Brahmana, activities, guna karma. Then one will be called a Brahmana. If one is not acting like that, then one is not a Brahmana. Pretty simple. So yes, Janma Jayate Shudra, Sanskarat Bhave Dvuja, Veda Pataditi Vipra, Brahmajaniti Iti Brahmana. I really like this point here. After one becomes a Brahmana, the next stage of development in human society is to become a Vaishnava. Wow. The Brahmanas are like the head of the society, is it not? They are the head, they are the guide, they are the... But Prabhupada is very clearly mentioning in this verse and multiple other verses that the Vaishnavas are higher. And we know this famous episode in the life of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, the dearmost Gurudev of Srila Prabhupada, when he went for a debate. The so-called Brahmanas were puffed up that Brahmanas are this, Brahmanas are that, Brahmanas are great, Brahmanas are all glories to Brahmanas. There was a very big debate, and the Vaishnavas, and they were like criticizing the Vaishnavas. Vaishnavism is like nonsense and hickory dickory kind of thing. But then Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur glorified first day, glorified the Brahmanas. The Brahmanas were very happy. Then from various scriptures, he proved the greatness of Vaishnavas over Brahmanas. So Vaishnava, and Prabhupada did this miracle. Bhakti is like a elevator process. From the lowest of the Shudra kind of people who are engaged in illicit sex, intoxication, gambling, drugs, this, all these are Shudra activity, even lower, totally in mode of ignorance and passion. They became pure Vaishnavas much higher than the so-called Jata Brahmanas. Jata Brahmanas means those who say, hey, I am a Brahmana because my father was a Brahmana, my grandfather was a Brahmana, my great-grandfather was a Brahmana, so I'm also a great Brahmana. That's not, that's basically Ashwatthama case. Not by being just the son of a Brahmana, one becomes a Brahmana, not like, unless one goes through a training. Same like doctor, engineer. Okay, the son of a doctor may become a doctor, but it's not always the case, unless they cannot say, hey, my father's a doctor, so I'm fit to do surgeries and this. Have you gone through proper training and under the guidance of a good teacher and education institute and everything? Then yes. And someone's father who's not a doctor can also become doctor if they also go through proper training and everything, right? Did I say it correctly, Prabhu, or this is the system? Or same with a lawyer, same with an engineer, same with any pilot, any profession, anything, teacher. They have to go through the process. They have to go through the training. They have to develop those credentials. Same in spiritual life. So bhakti is the elevator way to transcend all this. As Mahaprabhu said, the goal is not to become a Brahmana. The goal is not to become a Kshatriya Shudra. The goal is not to be disrespectful. Hey, I am higher, you are lower, this, that. Everyone has a role. Like in a society, doctors have a role, teachers have a role, engineers have a role, mothers have a role, and so many professions, pilots have a role, drivers have a role. Everyone has importance. This is spiritual life. Similarly, in this world, all the four varnas and four ashramas, it's not that higher or lower thing. Everyone has a special role they have to play based on their guna and karma, their propensities, their proclivities. And then they make a complete unit of interdependence, culture around Krishna. And Vaishnava is higher. So sometimes we see Vaishnava doing like cleaning toilets. That's like a Shudra mentality or Shudra kind of work. But Vaishnava is beyond all that. For Krishna's service, become lower than the lowest. For Krishna's service, become higher than the highest. The same devotee may be cleaning toilets. After 1 hour, he'll get ready, take bath and everything, get ready, maybe giving Bhagavatam class. Then he may go and collect funds, Vaishya mentality. Or then he may be managing the temple, Kshatriya. Then cleaning toilet pots and cleaning utensils, Shudra, right? Cooking in the kitchen, right? So different things. So Vaishnavas are above all these things, in short. Vaishnava does not consider that, whatever is required for service of Krishna, I'll do it. Yes, Bipul Prabhu were saying some comment, I guess.
No, Prabhuji.
Okay. Anyone else has any other thoughts or comments, reflections in this?
Hare Kṛṣṇa, Prabhuji. One small comment, Prabhuji, from my side. This is my personal observation, Prabhuji. A person like me who is very fallen, can't even understand the Vedic mantras or the process or anything. But I felt good when I was part of a couple of yajnas, and one few things which you did, and also one which we recently had at Bankim Prabhu's place. Guru was like, when you are reciting mantras, you are actually telling us what the significance of that and why we are doing it as well, which is really nice, and that is really, we are able to connect. Okay, it's just not ritualistic. There is a significance to that and why we are doing that as well. So which was which made me think as well, because there is, before it's like, anywhere we go, a lot of places, it's more ritualistic than understanding why things happen. But being part of these yajnas is helping me understand this importance and why we do that. Thank you, Prabhu. I just want to bring that up. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. That's a beautiful point. And therefore, ISKCON, Prabhupada said, ISKCON is like an educational institute, where everything has an answer. Why we do what we do, not just some blind ritual, but the spirit behind it, the essence behind it. Whether it's ringing of the bell or bowing down, breaking the coconut, this, that, everything has a meaning to it. It's so because people are intelligent, they want to know why I'm doing this. There must be some meaning behind it. And yes, there is. And therefore, ISKCON, there's a lot of emphasis on education. Every day there's Bhagavatam class, Bhagavad Gita class. Every day we are reading. Prabhupada wrote so much books for us to understand these. There are answers to everything, every question, everything. So very beautiful realization, Prabhu. Thank you. Talking about, I read a very nice article. It's a small thing, but let's read that and let's meditate upon that. I want to share this with everyone. Would someone like to read this section just on the screen right now? Shilpa Mataji is very eager. You just read, Mata.
Sorry, Prabhu. Yeah, I'll give another one a chance. Good.
Okay, then. I think she's really hungry for this. Okay, maybe everyone can read one point. Okay, we'll start with the introduction.
Digesting wisdom. Food enters the mouth, but only after chewing and digesting it can the nourishment be felt. In the same way, knowledge has its own process of digestion. There are 4 broad stages in spiritual learning. If anyone wants to read?
Yeah, yes. Shilpa Mataji, you can read the first one, Lakshay second, Sudhir Prabhu third, and Ekant Prabhu fourth. Let's do it.
Thank you. Hearing Shravanam.
Yeah.
Shravanam. Receiving insight and inspiration. Is it clear? What stands out? Do I have any questions?
That's the first stage.
That's the first. Okay.
We can link it to like how a cow intakes the food and then regurgitates, then absorption happens. So in like that, hearing also has multiple stages. And these are the stages. So let's first read and then we'll talk a little more. So first stage is like input of that knowledge, whether through eyes or through ears, through our jnanendriyas, right? What are the jnanendriyas? Primarily in this case, ears and eyes, right? We intake the knowledge. The hearing happens. And if there is something is not clear, we ask question. So at least theoretical clarity, right? Let's read about the next one. Who was next? I forgot.
Lakshay Prabhu, right?
Yes. Number 2, reflecting, mananam. Deep contemplation and reflection. What is my experience? What opportunities and difficulties this bring?
Mananam. Manan karna. Manan means in the mind, we do a thoughtful contemplation, self-reflection, right? That's mananam. That's third stage.
Applying. Nityaṁ, practical realization and application. How does this relate to my life now? What changes could I make? Thank
you, Prabhu. So after hearing, we do some thoughtful contemplation, and then we should be, from first in the head, then in the mind or heart, and then application. Because if there's no application, then what's the use? For example, we learned about, let's say, Vaishnava etiquette, how to welcome guests, right? Then we can, theoretically, the words, the input, the content has gone in. Then reflection. Okay, what did I do last time? What can I do different? I did that, I should have not done that. Or I did something which was good, so I should do more of those. You know, that Prabhuji or Mataji or that Maharaj liked it. Or did I did something very silly I should have not done. Or maybe I didn't know I was supposed to do this, which I got to know now, right? So all that's contemplation. Genuinely, we are reflecting upon it, we are thinking about it. And then we have a desire to apply. But all that is not sufficient, because it's not just my endeavor. We need the fourth element. What is the fourth element? Let's see. You gone through? Punah, Mataji?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Sure. Praying, Vandanam, heartfelt desire and supplication. What prayer could I make in this regard?
Prayers are very powerful. So if there are only the first three elements, I will do this, I will do that, I will do a lot of book distribution, I will do this, I will welcome guests nicely, then we may become proud. But then we have to offer a prayer also. Krishna, I am full of mistakes. Aparadh lakshray karishyasi ahar dinar nisha. I'm doing so many mistakes. Without your mercy, my Lord, I cannot do it. You help me out. I need your blessings. Vandanam, prayer, is an important limb of bhakti. Shravana kirtana smarana vandana padasevana dasyari. So vandanam is another limb of bhakti. We should sincerely offer prayers. Krishna, you help me follow this. This is too hard for me. I don't think I can ever come to this standard, but you help me out. If you are on my side, then I'll only be able to do it. Praying to the Guru, please give me the right directions. How can, what prayer could I make? How can I follow what I have learned or heard? Then if we follow these 4 steps, hearing, reflecting, applying, and then praying, then that content will not just remain in the head, but will go in the heart and then become a habit and character along with the prayerful mood. So really like this someone shared this, I found somewhere, thought to share with all of you. Any quick comments, thoughts before we pause for today? Anyone has? So we will pause here, and after we hear, during the day, during our work, traveling in the car, we can do at least these steps, right? What are the steps after hearing? Who recalls the 3 steps? Lecture recalls. Tell.
It's Shravanam, Mananam. After Shravanam, it's Mananam, and then after, and the 4th one is praying. 3rd,
application.
Application. Very nice. And Mananam is reflection, self-reflection, introspection. Good. Reflecting. Very nice. So we can do these 3 steps, between this class and next class. We can do that. Then it's like a cow who takes the food, and later during the day, she's absorbing. Then the juice flows in the body. So the juice of Bhagavatam will flow when we meditate upon what we have heard, and how we can make a difference in our lives and the lives of those who are connected to us in any way. Grantaraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Purana ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta Gaura
Jai.
Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhubhya Vichapatanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavabhyo. Hare Krishna, thank you so much, Śrīla Prabhupada.
Hare